HMPI. We're serving gospel musicians all over the world.
Hello, Kenneth Hollins here with HollinsMusic.com. Thank you so much for taking a few moments and viewing this video. Today I want to share with you a real quick lesson on things that you can do to make your chord sound bigger. If you're anything like me, you love to hear musicians play, and they play where they make the piano sound rich and colorful and flavorful, and their chords are real big and full sounding. Today I'm going to show you just some real simple things that you possibly can do to create a big sound when you play your chords. Okay? So now the way I'm going to demonstrate this is I will play a simple 2-5-1 progression, and then I'll go back and show you how you can make it sound bigger. Okay? All right, here's the progression. We're going to do a 2-5-1 in the key of C major. Okay, I'll do that again. 2, which is the D minor 7. 5, which is the G dominant 7, moving to the 1. Okay, and when I say 2-5-1 progression, I'm just referring to the notes that I'm playing on the actual scale degrees. We're in the key of C major. Okay, so we would think about the actual C major scale, okay, which would consist of the notes C, which is 1, D, which is 2, E, which is 3, F4, G5, A6, B7, and then back to the C, which is 1. So that's where I got 2-5-1 from. So C is 1, D would be 2, and then 3, 4, 5, G would be 5, and then back to the 1. 2, 5, 1. So those would be the actual root or bass notes of a 2-5-1 progression in the key of C. All right, so again, I used this particular chord voicing for the 2. All right, this is D minor 7 on the 2. This is G dominant 7 for the 5 chord, and then this is C major for the 1 chord. Okay, now that's fine, but say for example, you want something that's bigger than that, and that's a common issue that many piano players will have, where they say, well, the chord is right, and I know I'm playing the right chord, but it doesn't sound full, it doesn't sound rich. What can I do so that I can have a really, really big sound that's really flavorful and colorful? Okay, let me show you just a few basic things you can do. One thing that I like to do is use space as well as use numbers. Okay, let me show you what I mean by that. Now, in order to create a bigger sound, one thing that you can do is use space in between your notes. Now, let me give you an example. Now, for example, the first chord is a D minor 7 chord, which consists of the notes D, C, F, and A. If I were to play them in root position, it would be D, F, A, C. Okay, so these are the notes of the chord, D, F, A, C. Now, I'm going to rearrange the order of the notes, or in other words, play a different voicing to try to get a bigger sound. So as long as I know what my notes are, which are D, F, A, C, I can play those particular notes however I want to, okay, as long as I'm playing the right notes. So I'm going to try this. Let's try this to get a bigger sound. Okay? Same notes, all right? Here's the D, here's the A, excuse me, this is the D, this is the F, here's the A, I doubled the A, I played the A twice, here's the C, and then I played the F again. Okay, so it's okay to double notes, but I do have those 4 notes, D, F, A, C, okay, just like this, but I just spread those notes out, or in a sense, I put space. Now notice I have space in between the D and the A. I could have put an F here, but I chose to put a little space right there. Okay, I could have played D right here, but I chose to play the F right there. Okay, so notice how I took this D minor here and spread it all the way out with my left hand. Now what that does, it gives you somewhat of a body or fullness to your chord. I'm playing this toward the lower end of the piano, and then we add these other notes in with the right hand. Okay, so that gives me a bigger sound than when I started with that. Okay. All right, so that's the voicing that I'm using for the 2 chord. Then we move to the 5 chord. Okay, at first I did that. Now let's try something different. Now I told you can approach this with putting space in between your notes as well as using numbers. Now, one thing that I do is I love to add numbers to my chords to add a little color or a little flavor to the chord. Now, whenever I'm playing a major chord, I love to add the 9, and I also love to add the 13. Whenever I'm playing a minor chord, I love to add the 9, the 11, and depending on if I really want a contemporary sound, sometimes the 13. Now, let me demonstrate to you what I mean by that. Now, we're going to go to this dominant 7 chord, which is G dominant 7. So the notes are G, B, D, and F. Okay, so those would be the notes to a G dominant 7. All right. Now, on a dominant 7 chord, I'd like to add the 9. Many times I like to add the 13. And every once in a while, I even throw in a sharp 11. Okay. Now, if you don't know what I mean by that, let me demonstrate and explain what I mean. And I'm going to go back to the key of C to demonstrate this. Now, if we wanted to figure out what the 9 is or what the 13 or the sharp 11, if you don't quite understand all of that, all it is the notes of the major scale. Okay. Let me demonstrate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, when you start to deal with what's called extended chords or chords that have numbers in them past the number 8, then it works like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So the scale actually goes all the way up to the number 13. It doesn't stop at 8. It goes on 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So if we were playing a C chord, or C dominant 7, the 9 would be D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay? If we were playing a C minor chord and we wanted to include a 9 and an 11, we would count like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the 9 would be D, the 11 would be F. Okay? And then we have that. If we wanted to really get a really contemporary sound, we possibly could even add that 13 in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so now we have 9, 11, 13. Okay? All right, and so that gives me some options in terms of getting a more colorful or flavorful sounding chord. So let's go back to the example. This is the 2 we played. This is the 5. That was the 1. So we decided on doing 2 like this. Now, I'm going to try something different on the 5. Instead of playing my 5 like this, I'm going to try it like that. Okay? Now, what did I just do? All right. The notes are to the G dominant 7, G, B, D, F. Here's my G. Here's my F. Here's my B. Now, I also included this E here and this A, okay? Now, the E and the A are not in the notes of the regular chord, G, B, D, F. I included the E and the A. So what's the E and the A? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So E is the number 13. All right, now let's figure out what the A is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A is the 9. So I included the 9 and the 13 to this G dominant 7 chord to get more color or flavor in the sound of the chord. And I put space in between the notes to get a bigger sound. That's basically what I did. So here's the G, here's the F, here's the B, here's the 13, here's the 9. Now you may be noticing that I left the 5th out, okay? Now, I could include the 5 or I could leave the 5 out. One thing that I generally do is when I start to play extended chords and the chord does not have a flat 5 or sharp 5 in it, I usually just leave the 5 completely out. I like the sound of the chord without the 5 in it if I'm playing extended chords, meaning chords that have 9ths, sharp 11s, 13s in them, chords like that, okay? So we're using this for the 5 chord, G, F, B, E, A, and then finally, instead of playing the 1 chord like this, let's try it like that. Okay, that's a little bit bigger, okay? Notice I'm using space down here with my left hand, all right? This is a C major chord, and basically I'm playing a C major chord with my left hand, just including space, all right? C, G, E instead of C, E, G, okay? Same 3 notes, putting space in between those notes to create a bigger sounding chord, all right? Now, let's see what we can add with that. Here's an A, here's a D, and I'm doubling the G up here, okay? So what is the A? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's the 13, and then the D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay? 13, 9, that's the 5 doubled again, okay? And we can use this as our C major chord or our 1 chord. So it's a big difference in the sound of this and this. Okay? All right. And so just using things like that, space and numbers, to create a bigger sounding chord is something that you can do. You can practice on that. You can experiment with it, and it definitely will make a big difference in your sound.
If you enjoyed this lesson, be sure to like, subscribe, share, and visit our store for more awesome resources at hollandsmusic.com.